Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. All praise and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders at Jam Master Rule Well. Peace and blessings to the Akim that's out there fighting, doing this work with truth and sincerity. It's your brother Bon Sapad. Back at you again with another lesson. And Lord willing, this is edifying. It's a quick lesson through the book of Ezekiel, chapter 28. I was just reading and was thinking about, through the spirit of Yahweh by Shema Shah, that all the kingdoms, the Roman Empire, the Greek Empire, the Egyptian Empire, the Persian Empire, all the empires that we've learned in school has been driven by pride, deceit, and lust, and their splendor. And I was just thinking, like, all those kingdoms that I mentioned and that all of us learned in school, all of those kingdoms has been destroyed and never came back into power. And I'm thinking about this modern day kingdom, all the major presidents around the world and the people that run this society, man. It's no difference than the ancient empires, because this empire is all rolled up in all the other ancient empires in one. You see? So there's no difference. The scripture said there's nothing new under the sun. So I'm going to go through Ezekiel 1 through 10, maybe a little further. Spirit on me to do this, to give clarity to the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and to the people that run this world, this society, man. You know, that the pride of a person is what's going to bring their kingdom down, along with wickedness and witchcraft and you name it. You know what I'm saying? But this particular one in Isaiah is talking about the king, talking about King Cyrus, and there's no different than these kings today. So the fact that King Cyrus, his sins was his claim to be divine, just like you see the top elite banking families, the powers that be, they think they're divine, and that's a sin, because like in this chapter in Ezekiel 28, Tyrus saying that he is the Most High, but the Most High said, thou art just a man. So because of his presumption, you know, that prince, King Tyrus, would be killed by his enemies, thus what? Proving his mortality. So the same thing with the people that rule in this society. Look, Yahweh Bashim Shah, eyes are upon the sinful kingdom. And that's talking about Jerusalem at one time, but you can equate that into today's society, man. The angels are the eyes of Yahweh Bashim Shah. And they always come down here watching and recording everything back and reporting to the Heavenly Father, man. So the sins of this place has reached up into the heavens. That's why now things are coming out and things are starting to happen as a token, meaning like earthquakes and you know, riots. And so these are signs of things to happen before kingdom goes down, man. So this is Ezekiel 28:1. The word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, as it says here, I am the power. I sit in the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not the Most High, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. You see? So the rulers that be have that same mindset, because they have done so much wickedness and gotten away with so much treachery and got the people in such of a mind state to whereas they don't know what's going on. That's just his mind state, man. But Ezekiel saying you just a man at the end of the day, because down heart, your mind is lifted up. You see, your mind has been lifted up. This is Jeremiah 49:16. Thy terribleness, okay, have deceived thee, and the pride of thine heart, meaning your mind, O thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, that holdest the height of the hill, though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord. So this is modern day Petra. The Edomites was in modern day Petra. I mean, was living in Petra, man. It says the clefts are the rocks. If you look at these buildings remind you of caves carved out with windows in them. So the terribleness have deceived these people that rule, man, in today's society. Not your everyday Joe Schmo crackers. We talking about the ruling class in this society. So their mindset is a very pride one. And since their mindset is on pride, the Most High said he shall bring thee down. He make his nest upon the stars, meaning as high as the eagles. He has space stations and satellites in heaven, so he can spy and watch the people as the Most High can see everything. Remember, the scriptures say the eyes of the Most High are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. So the elite families have satellites and tracking devices to be able, and cameras to be able to monitor people, because they're trying to be like the Most High. They're trying to be one as the Most High, man. You see what I'm saying? But in verse 2, it says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power. That's us going out, beginning with the apostles and elders, speaking out against the ruling class, so to speak. Because thine mind, so we telling them, because thy mind is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am the Most High, because they say they the Most High. They've done so much wickedness and some things that nature, and things of that nature that haven't been punished for as being broke down as dirt on the earth. They still ruling. They still in their rulership. It's that you see before you, the fall of Rome, this empire's 3D image I tried to find. I was looking for a better one, but this is the fall of Rome. So all the ancient empires have failed, and this won't be no different. It's going to be the same. But because the ruling class put themselves in the mindset of being the Most High, I am a power. I sit in the seat of the Most High. You see, they sit in the seat of power on the wicked side, on the earth. If you speak out against them, they will come get you. They have satellites and things of that nature in the firmament to where they can keep track of you. You see what I'm saying? They keep track on everybody, man. So you can't do anything. There's cameras. That's everything, man. People watching you, taking pictures. So they, in their mind, they think they're the Most High because all the wickedness they've done, they haven't been punished yet. And they think that the Most High was all together with them. You see what I'm saying? Because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a power. I sit in the seat of the Most High. In the midst of the seas, meaning the seas represents the people. Yet thou art a man, okay, and not the Most High, though thou set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel, okay. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. There's no secret you can hide from him. His technology, he got planes. You see, that made him wiser than Daniel because of his technology, because he got planes. What, women rule over men? So there's a lot of things that the ruling class have that made them wiser than Daniel, man. And wickedness. See, with thy wisdom, verse 4, with thy wisdom and with thine understanding, thou hast gotten thee riches. So with their understanding, which is wickedness, which is treachery, which is bribery, which is cunning, which is deceit. So with that wisdom that they have, that's what got them riches, man. And has gotten gold and silver unto thy treasures. They owned all the gold and silver. You see, when the paper money came about, they took away the gold standard. The gold and silver was taken away. Now you can go to your local stores and buy gold and silver, but they own all of it. They'll give you some, but with their wisdom and knowledge, that's riches and gold was unto their treasures, man. By thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, thou hast increased thy riches. What? Slavery. That's traffic. That's trade. When you take another person and you trade them off, that's trafficking. And today, they have underground trafficking rings that's still going on today. And that brings a lot of money in, man. Drugs, opium, people. So that's why it says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic, you see, and by thy traffic, meaning their trade. The human trafficking and drugs is a lot of money. That's trade. And the ruling class today, that's what they do. Oil, They go steal oil from other countries and they sell it. So any resource that you have, they're going to sell it and trade for money, man. By thy great wisdom, verse 5, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and thine heart, thy mind is lifted up because of thy riches. So they have trillions of dollars, and their pump is so high because they own everything. They what you call above a glass ceiling. So your Oprahs and your Jay-Z's or your P. Diddy's, whatever, whoever, Nick Cannon's, these people are under this glass ceiling. You will never get above this glass ceiling. Since the ruling class are above this glass ceiling, they look down on the people that's going like that's nothing. So that money and that pride got them up in a position to where they're looking down on the people, man. So their mind and their heart is their mind and their heart, meaning their mind is lifted up in them because of all the riches that they got. They own everything. There's only a few ruling class society of people that own everything. And that got them lifted up, man. But there's going to come a time, or there's coming a time, like it says here, the pride of Tyrese, the king, and we talking about modern day time now, the ruling class society, the Mossad is going to bring them down as nothing. The Mossad going to prove to the other nations and to the ruling class society that they are nothing but men, not the Mossad. Verse 6, okay? Therefore, thus saith the Lord power, because thou hast set thine heart as the heart of the Most High. They trying to be as one as the Most High. You see? Behold, therefore I will bring strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations. He says he's going to bring the terrible of the nations, the most terrible strangers upon thee, the terrible of the nations, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom. You see, that's why these other nations don't want to trade in dollars anymore. They want to get out the dollar standard, man. They see the trickery. They see that his policies that's written in the form of what they call it says in Isaiah 10:1. Oh man, what is it? I'm seeing to find it real quick. Real quick. Just bear with me real quick. I think it's Isaiah 10:1. This is Isaiah 10:1. Isaiah 10:1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, that write grievousness which they have prescribed right. So in their laws, they will make laws that's grievous to nations, that's grievous to the people here as well, man. So the strangers, the other nations, are going to come upon you, and they shall draw their swords against the beauty of thy wisdom, and they shall defile the brightness. That brightness is talking about the splendor of this place. You see what I'm saying? This place is such a splendor, but it was found on witchcraft and wickedness, robbery and deceit, rape and murder, that the other nations, seeing the information that's coming out upon these people, that they don't want to deal with them anymore. I was talking to the so-called Jamaican client of mine. He was saying he travels. He's saying, man, he traveled, man, to other nations. You know, when he showed his American passport, they just laugh at this place. So the other countries, even the smaller nations, are gearing up for war, man. It's all through the spirit of Yahweh by Shema Bashai. So he's going to fall fast as lightning, man. They shall bring thee down to other nations. You see what I'm saying? Because it's going to be a third world's war, to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. When the ships out in the sea, people. So the elite ruling family go find out that you just a man. So by you saying that you are divine, that you the Most High, and you have a mind of the Most High, you nothing but mortality, man. The Most High is going to bring you down to the grave. They shall bring thee to the pit, and thou shalt die the deaths of them that are slain in the midst of the seas. Wilt thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, I am the Most High? But thou shalt be a man, and no power in the hand of him that slayeth thee. You see, when you go to wars, you go find out and see that the Most High wasn't with you, and these other nations are afraid of you because you're military at one time. that you would go to the other nations and steal their resources, and you would go to war with them if they don't comply with you. That's why it says, "Will thou yet say before him that slayeth thee?" That's going into war, and the other nations going to find out, man. Am Will thou yet say before him that slayeth thee, Am I the Most High? But thou shalt be a man, you see, and no power in the hand of him that slayeth thee. That's talking about the strangers nations that's drawing their swords against you to defy you, to bring down the splendor of your so-called society, man. All it is, all this stuff you've been doing on the left-hand side, you're going to be brought to nothing, and you're going to realize that you're not the Most High. You see? Verse 10, thou shalt die the deaths of the uncircumcised by the hands of strangers, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord, power. You see what I'm saying? So that's what's going on right now, man. You claiming to be divine as one to be equal to the Most High, but you're going to find out that you're going to die as just a regular man. And the other nations are going to see that, man. You see? Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation. Okay. I'm in verse 11 now. I'm reading over here in the scriptures. Take up the lamentations upon the king of Tyrus. And this is, once again, this, you can equate this to the elite banking families today, man. And say unto them, Thus saith the Lord power, thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You see, thou hast been in Eden. I'm going to jump down to, verse 17. Thine heart, jump down to 17. Okay, thine heart was lifted because of thy beauty. Thou wast corrupted, thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. You see, verse 17, Ezekiel 20:17. Thine heart was lifted up. You was proud. You are a very pompous people, man. So thy mind was pride in thy traffic, in thy rulership on the planet. And you equate yourself to be equal to the Most High, man. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty, your splendor. The way you look to other nations. At one time, all the people wanted to come over here. They said their streets was paved in gold. And then, the opportunities are here. So you come over here, the other nations come over here and get paid. You see? But the Most High is going to bring you down, man. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness, meaning of your splendor. The way you got your things, the way you put yourself in power, it looks splendor to the other nations. But the Most High said difference, man. I will cast thee to the ground. You see, he's going to cast you to the ground. That's why the nations don't want to deal with you anymore, man. They want to get out of the dollar. They don't want to deal with it anymore. They see the filth and wickedness and the wine you gave them. They drank that wine you gave them to the point they coming out of that sluggery or that stagger from wine. And that wine is talking about your philosophy and your way of life. It's not actually talking about wine you drink. So the other nations are basically sobering up to see the wickedness that you cast upon the world. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before kings, that they may behold thee. They go look at you, but like, wow, is this the man? For real? All this time, this dude had this splendor and his military might and his power. And what? This is what's going on right now today. We going to war with him. We bringing him down. And ultimately, Yahweh Bashim Shai is controlling these things, man. To usher in what? The kingdom of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Bashim Shai, man. The tabernacle of King David and the elect of the nation of Israel would consist of your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. So the pride of this king was brought down to naught, just like the pride of today's elite society. It's going to be taken down because you have done nothing but wickedness, man. And with your wickedness, a lot of people look at that as that splendor because of the wealth that you obtained, the resources that you obtained, the power that you have. But you're going to be brought down to the ground and the world go see it. Hey, it's your brother Buns of Pod. I hope it was edifying. Until the next time, I shall say, Shalom.